Yeah, so what we're doing is we are working on the 9 inch on Wild Child. There's what we've got so far on the front. Front's all finished up. All radius arm, all done. So today we're gonna flip the axle. So I gotta cut away the brackets on that. And that. I'm gonna do it all live. Watch me build a Jeep live. Boom. I'm gonna try to join it on my laptop so I can see what you guys are saying or if anybody's saying anything there. And let's see here. So will it let me see that? All right. So I'm on live with you guys. I don't know. See your maybe up. Am I done yet? No, Pops. I'm just now getting ready to start cutting. I decided to go live. So right here, I'm on my laptop. Check it out, Ed. That's what we got going on. So I pulled the axle off of a Jeep already. Got that all ready, but so the front end's done. We're just waiting on getting our tie rods in, and so yeah, the axle's off. We're getting ready, and so I'm gonna say right now on the live, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut away the spring purchase on the axle. I gotta turn this thing down. So so I'm gonna cut away the spring purchase on the 9 inch, and then I'm gonna flip them. I'm gonna go out and see where I want my pinion angle on the axle, and then re-weld my spring purchase back onto the axle, and then build the truss. So shouldn't take very long. I'm just gonna just do it a little bit different. I'm gonna do it live. I'm gonna try to make it so I can see if there's any comments being made or anything like that, and I can answer questions in between steps. So I'm kind of making it interactive. Yep. So here we go. Let's get to work. I don't have a camera person yet. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this door because it's cold. So yeah, the safety police out there aren't really gonna appreciate what I'm about to do because they're gonna say I'm probably being not safe, but I can't really be much safer than I'm being. I don't believe. Like I'm wearing gloves, right? Maybe. I don't know. I'll probably be wearing gloves. More than likely. I think I'm gonna back you guys away a little bit from what I'm doing. Just here. Now where's the camera at? Just gonna lift that up a little bit. So I kind of like this. I can actually see what's going on back there. I can't read what you guys are saying if you guys are asking any questions. Right? I'm sure some of you guys are starting to scream at me. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. All right. So I guess first thing we need to do is get everything together. I have it all together. It's all sitting in there. So, biggest thing about this is cutting when you're cutting with the grinder on your axle or anything that's round is you don't want to cut down with your blade. You want to get your blade as flat as possible without running the screw or the holder or the retainers up against the axle tube. So you don't want to dig into the axle tube. You just want to cut away the material that's being tied to the axle tube. So, with that being said, let's see how well my welds are. I'm kind of nervous about this because I'm putting myself out there in a pretty big way. If I didn't nail this like perfect, and well, not perfect, but I can tell you it's not perfect just by looking at my welds. That there are inclusions, but when you got when you're welding to stuff that's been soaked in gear oil for 50 years, you're going to end up with inclusions. Just the way it happens. There's not much I can do about it. I weld TIG. I don't have a MIG welder, so let me continue making more excuses. So before I get going, are there any questions I got to answer real quick? Nothing? Nothing. All right. Let's just go ahead and get going. The trick about grinding is you don't ever want to point. You want to know which way your grinder rotates. This grinder I know rotates in if you're looking at the top of it, it rotates in a clockwise fashion. If you're looking at it this way, it rotates in a counterclockwise fashion. I'm going to be grinding in this fashion. I know it's going to be shooting sparks this way. Make sure you're not going to be setting anything on fire. There's no gas cans or anything behind you. That's about as safe as I get with these. My guard that they gave for this thing might be somewhere in the garage, but it's too big, too small for what I use this grinder for. I use this grinder for mostly cutting, and it gets in the way when I need to be flat. If I need to be in a certain spot or whatever, it's I can't see what I'm doing, so I don't use it. So don't yell at me for it. I don't care. All right, let's just see how well I welded these things on here. Well, that's pretty sporty. Yeah, get the tire off there. yeah, did I mention? We got all the stuff for the brakes, so guess who's doing brakes when she's done eating upstairs? Jen's going to be joining us for a how to assemble brakes from scratch session. That's going to be interesting. Because I got to do it from memory. This thing didn't have brakes when we got it. All right, I'm going to cut this off and I'll check to see if there's any questions. Where's my whacker at? Houston, we got a problem. I'm not getting enough penetration. It would have held because of the U-bolts, but for this kind of work, I'm not getting enough penetration. Oh, that's a stark realization of. Oh, wow. All right. Well, it's not. It's not that my weld wasn't a good weld. As you can see, other than the inclusions in the weld from the oils burning through it, they were solid welds. But I didn't go with disc brakes because we chose not to go disc brakes because of cost, and we don't really need them for what we're doing. We're not doing a sports car build. If I was doing something that we were going to be taking on a track, it'd be a little bit more important in my eyes, to run disc brakes because we'd need more positive braking on the corners. For what we're doing, rock crawling, the drum brakes will be plenty. I've got adjustment on my drum brakes, so if I happen to have if my drum brakes are grabbing too fast, I can pull off some of I could create slack in the tensioner, and basically have a poor man's bias. And also, I plan on doing an electronic e-brake, electronic emergency brake or electronic hill assist brake, that will, with the 12 volt, where with key off, it's automatically on, so you step on the brake and it will not return the pressure to the master cylinder until you go key on and then flip the switch on or off, whichever way I wire it. So we'll have less pressure sitting on the lines this way than we would have with the discs, trying to hold the discs on positive lock with the key off situation. So anytime that the engine's not running, or pretty much anytime the engine's not running, when I don't have a 12 volt positive to the engine, the e-brake on this thing is going to set. So I believe that's the way I'm going to do it. Unless, well, I'm going to set it to a master switch, so that it can't set itself when we don't want it to set. But say we get out of the car, we park the Jeep, or we're sitting on a hill, we can reach up, flip the switch, let our foot off the brake, and it'll hold the drums without requiring a lot of pressure to hold the drums. Does that help? Does that answer your question? I can't see comments on this. Let's see, where'd the comments go? Where's watch out, all messages are visible. Where'd they go? Where are the messages? Well, I know somebody asked anyway. I'm still trying to figure this out. I don't know how. I just now saw somebody said something. But and cost, mostly cost. I would have loved to go disc brakes, but with doing the e-brake thing and um, uh, yeah, with what we're using the Jeep for, it just doesn't make any sense to spend that to make that expense for that expense. Let's see, how's that look on that? Oh, there's a nice shot of my butt, huh? Sorry, guys. Nobody wants to see that. So I got a Q&A rolling, but it's weird. It doesn't. Where's my mouse at? Questions. Live chat. There. Sounds like a personal phone. All right, now I can see everything that's going on. All right, so every once in a while, I'll come over here and see what's going on. And maybe we can get Jen down here in a minute, and she can moderate the chat a little bit. And she's pretty savvy with this build. So, well, actually not savvy. She's done most of the work on this build. So she's probably just as qualified, if not more qualified than I am to answer these questions, answer anybody's questions. Let's go get this tire off. These things are freaking. Oh! That's a heavy meatball. Wow. All right. Well, after that last one, that sucks. Sounds like a personal problem. Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks, man. I just not caught on to it. I'm slow. All right. Well, let's start over here, I guess. Well, that's just kind of interesting. I don't know about all that. I think I found part of my problem. How did I end up with that rod? Alright. Not much better than a factory, but yeah. I don't know how I got brazing rod mixed in with my welding rod. I don't know how I didn't catch that. Huh. So, with those off, I'm going to go ahead and set them off to the side. Grab a flattened paddle. Off the desk. Maybe move you guys into a different position really quick, see how that works. Check for questions. Check for questions to which I have no answers. Probably, more than likely. What's going on here? How's that? That works. So what you guys got? Anything to say? Anything good? Alright. Well, no questions, answers, something like that. Alright. So let's move on over here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, or I'm going to grind, I should say, the weld off of the axle. This will be the second time I've grounded the weld off of one spot, and then it's the first time I've grounded off the welds on. Well, so the welds here and here are the original inside welds for the F1, for the F-150 I took this axle off of. And then these welds are the two fresh welds I did. So those are actually just going to get transferred to right underneath. And then I'm going to build an axle truss that's going to start out right here. And I'm going to carry it to the end of this axle tube. I might even carry it all the way. Oh no, I'm going to carry it to about right here. About where the old spring perch was at. The factory spring perch was. So anyway, I'm using a flappy paddle. The reason why they're called flappy paddle discs is because there's a series of sandpaper paddles that's inside this thing, and as it goes around, they wear down slowly. I like them. They're not as abrasive as a grinder attachment, but they'll do the job, and you have more control over what this is doing. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. When I get done here, I'll bring you guys in closer. Alright, some of you guys are going to notice that I didn't go side to side. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the camera on that one. Some of you will notice I wasn't going side to side. Again, I wasn't looking. Some of you may have noticed that I wasn't going side to side on my grinder when I was grinding that down. The reason why I don't do that is because if you go side to side, you're actually squaring, you're making square marks on your round tube. If you go around the tube and as the tube is round, and when you start pulling out material, stop, then you come over it with a DA sander, which I'll show you right now, and you can just clean up what's left on top of the, and you make it completely round again, without taking more material than is absolutely necessary. So that's why I do that. And that is good enough for government work. Not too worried about anything else that's on it, but it's a rock crawler. It does not have to be perfect. But as you can see, I cut a little bit deep here, but not too worried about it. I may fill that in. Same thing. That's actually from the weld from previous. Same thing with this. So with as deep as that is, and that was their factory weld, I'm not going to worry about cut those. And besides that, I'm trusting this. So any weakness done by that right there, if that's actually truly a weakness, it'll be superseded by the uh, 120 wall DOM I'm about to run on there. So let's go ahead and get the other side dressed up and flip this axle and start doing measurements and figuring out where we want the pinion angle. So I'm running a double carbon CV on this. So my pinion angle is going to actually be a lot steeper than a lot of people that are running a traditional drive shaft, because the CV joint inside the double cardan will actually make up for the pinion angle on the differential. So somewhere is my drive shaft, and I'll show you what I'm talking about when I get done grinding this down, and why my pinion angle is going to change in relation. I'll explain why my pinion angle is going to change in relation to how it sits now versus how it's going to sit with the axle under. So it's actually, with the axle under, it's actually going to sit 180 degrees off of where it was factory, just 8.5 inches from the plate. So that is going to change the pinion angle pretty by a quarter of an inch. Pretty sure that's what it was. So yep, let's go ahead and get this cleaned down and keep on moving. Any questions, really quick? No. Let's see. Feel free to chat. Say hello. All right. So, you know what? I might even use a belt sander for doing the final dress on the on this side, just to kind of show you the use of different tools. We're achieving the same outcome. Some of you wise-eyed people may notice that there was no sparks on part of that grind, most of that grind. That is because somehow I ended up with brazing rod mixed in with my welding rod. I don't know how that happened, and I don't know how I didn't catch it when I was welding it, but that stuff was pretty tough. I mean, I pretty much bronzed it. I just added more carbon. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyway, so you guys, for doing the final cleanup on this, we're just going to use a belt sander to do it instead of doing it with the DA. Show you the difference. Oh. So there's a difference. There's a belt sander, and that is DA sander. Y'all see it? So just kind of ain't much of a difference, really. You can see that bronze and from that funky rod that ended up in my stuff. I don't know. Just weird. So, anyway, now that we have that stuff removed, now that that's been removed, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flip the axle over, and I'm going to clean up the purchase, which are over there. Here. I'll clean up those two perches really quick. I'll use the belt sander to do that, show you guys how that's going to go down. And then we'll flip this thing back over, and I'll figure out where the pinion angle is going to be from upside down. And weld those back into place, or at least get the tacks into place. No, we'll weld them in place. Yeah, no. Never mind. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and do... we're going to truss the top. I'm going to go ahead and truss up the axles on top. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So that's going to be the fun part. We'll just go ahead and let the jack down, level this thing out. I'll grab my tubing and we'll cut some tube down, make it all work out pretty good. This will be pretty cool. We're going to do axle trussings. That's what we're going to do. So let me grab my steel and we're going to get onto that. This should work just fine. Oh, yeah. That's work perfect. So what we have is so let's go ahead and just cut. Oh, I guess I'll cut this piece off right here with death wheel, and we'll test fit it to that and see where it needs to be cut. We'll mark it, cut it, shape it, fish mouth it, and then weld it. That sounds like a lot more fun than doing the other crap I was going to do. I'm going to move you guys from where you're at to somewhere else. Alright, let's see, where would you guys be best? I think we should be best over here. I'm going to put you guys over here by the laptop. And how are we doing? Fuel for laptop. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut the tube down, and then we're gonna weld up the axle. We'll move the camera in just a moment. Any questions? No? None? Man, ever since I got this plasma grinder, it's been pretty fantastic. I'm telling you. Just kidding. Plasma grinder. It's got a safety feature that if you don't plug it in, it don't turn on, which is pretty cool. You know, you just don't want to, you never want to turn something on and accidentally have it not turn on. So what are we doing? Cutting this one. I don't know. Seems a little bit too easy. Yeah, that'll work. Let's just weld it right to the brake drum. That gives us plenty of articulation, right? You guys think we should do that? Way over there. There's no way you can see what the hell is going on from way over there. I know my ass ain't looking that good. So let's just switch it back over here again. So, any light. Just gonna put rolling around or something. All right. Now we should have light. There we go. Some light on the subject there. So what we're doing is we're building a truss for this side right here. Turn it. All right. And what I have is that piece I just cut and sit down here, which is entirely too long, but we can get an idea of where we need it to be. So if we just go ahead and, you guys see where I'm at on this table here? Just figure that. Wiggle, wiggle. Yeah, you guys can see what I figured out. So if I go ahead and just cut this angle out, say, about like just take this guy like this and move it over to about like that, and then we cut it. Something like that. Well, I don't know if I'm comfortable with. Hell yeah, I am. Okay. Never mind. Alright. So now that we know what our measurements are, because we did all that measuring, the science you just there, we're going to go ahead and science this into a bunch of different pieces. So let's move you guys a little closer to my little work area station here. And maybe focus you down a little bit. Oh, shoot, I can't focus you down. So we'll turn you this way. We should quit moving now. Alright, so I can work right here. Alright, so number one job would be find where my marks are at. Number one thing is we know that we had this thing up there this way, and this is the shape of our pumpkin, and that's the shape of the top of the axle tube, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip this thing just like this, so that this, where the tube's been cut already, I'm going to make sure that this cut is straight up and down, and I'm going to notch this pipe right here. I'm going to notch it down to, you know, where it's equal on both ends, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to cut it straight in to this tip right here. And what that does is it gives me a point of reference for both of my cut lines, they're going to come along this line right here where I cut it. So I'll have a reference point from here to here, and I'll have a reference point from here to the other side of this pipe that I can't see right now. All right. And then this thing right here, wherever my mark's at, right here, should be right where this pipe is straight up and down, which it is. So I'm going to do the same thing on this thing. I'm going to come in right here, and I'm going to notch it with this pipe sitting right here, like that. I'm going to notch it down. I'm going to flip the pipe over, and I'm going to notch it out about this far up the pipe. And again, what I'll end up with is a straight cut, and then what I can do is I'll work my way into it with the death wheel, and then I'll finalize everything with the flappy paddle. All right. So that's what's going on. And any questions? Nope. All right. Step on it for safety. Always step on it. All right. So I'm going to bring it in and show you what I'm talking about by notching. So I notched it here, straight through to there, right? And then I notched it, give it a little cut incision on the bottom. Now I can see this incision here, and I can see the incision there, right? So now all I have to do is connect the dot on both sides, and my cut is going to be exactly equal on both sides, right? So now you understand what I'm doing. All right, let's get you back over here. Well, oh. So this wayward line over here, that has nothing to do with anything. I didn't do that. That was somebody else. See, if I wouldn't have stepped on it, I wouldn't have known that it wasn't safe. I will not call perfection, but I will say, for meeting in the middle, not that bad. There. I have a little bit of a wallop right here in the middle of that, but it doesn't mean it's in the middle of this. So, my juice right here. I can see it, but it'll come out with the grinder. I'll finish it. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing over here on this piece. Wherever I can find the mark. There it is. So I'll do the same thing with this mark. Snip, snip, and then connect them. All good. So we do it. I'm going to start on the side I didn't trace first, and then we'll go to the side I did trace and see how well I do it. You guys see about that? I gotta do some cleaning up with the flat propel, but are you curious? I'm pretty curious. I don't know, guys. I think I just need to fish mouth that and clean this up. I don't know if anybody actually saw me eyeball that. This guy. I planned on hitting that down with a hammer anyway, or grinding it down to where it flush. But this is all. There's that one side that I didn't trace. That's the side that I didn't trace. That's the side I just. That's the side I eyeballed. So all I need to do now is fish mount this, fish mount that, clean this up, and weld it in. So let's work on fish mounting. We need flappy paddle. Ugh. Come on, get out there. All right. Well, we got a tool for that. Sorry. Yes, I did. I used to. I used to. Huh. Well, shit, Mark. Where the hell tool at? I don't know. Where'd you go? Man, where the hell's my tool at? This kind of bunk. Well, pretty sure Jen was in here putting things away. Got it. So by fish mounted, I mean, I'm going to ground out this inside here, and this is going to kind of get flattened out here a little bit, and this is going to get down, so the pipe will sit flat on top of that 3-inch, and then you're going to see that I kind of twisted this back a little bit. The reason why I did that is so that I don't have to, I'm not going to put a bottom truss on it. So any forward twist on the axle will go, everything will get translated into the other side. So I think this is just going to be better. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might be just full of shit. We'll see. Okay. Well, now would be a good time to talk about the difference between mild steel tube and drawn-on mandrel or DOM's tube. So DOM tubing will have no seam in it whatsoever. There's no seam because it's drawn on a mandrel. It's pushed through an extruder. It's extruded steel. Regular mild steel will have a seam. You'll actually be able to see it. It'll look like exhaust tubing. So this is DOM. And then, let's see. Okay. So we need to take down this side quite a bit. Yep. Oh man, I didn't turn you guys with me. Sorry about that. I didn't know it was gonna be gone that long, actually. To be honest with you. That's it. That is what we want. We just gotta get rid of that notch right there. Alright. So this has got to come back and down. See how that fits. A little bit more in the back. A little bit more. Take this whole entire lip off right here. Right. No big deal.
Nobody move! Drop me brain.
Somebody sent me a text message or something. I'm not asking it, Alright. Let's cut this off right here. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna have to cut this off right here. That should fit. Let's see. Ah! I forgot you guys are plugged in. Sorry about that. Making you all dizzy? Yeah. That just needs a little bit of trimming in there. And bring. I can just go ahead and extend this up right here and cut this off right here. So I like the way it fits on this end. Right here. I kind of like the way it fits over on this side. Took too much material off of this side. Other than that, it fits. That's going to be this side. Yep. All right. Well, that concludes the live for today. I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what the women in the house are screaming and yelling about right now, because it seems like they're upset about something. So I'm gonna go find out what's going on with family life, and we'll get back to Build a Jeep live tomorrow. See you guys.